Blakey didn't know how much time had passed after the voice went silent, but the parking lot was mostly empty by the time he felt reasonably stable. Blakey set his phone in its charging cradle and pulled the map up for directions home, but the museum was still set as the second destination. There wasn't even a second thought. He drove straight there. Once inside, he knew instinctively where to go, what floor, what section, and what room. That scared him. There was no mirror, only a sign between two retractable stanchions that read, "Exhibit removed for repair." There was no other trace of Vincent's vandalism. Just a blank wall and the mirror's placard, which read, "Halton Mirror by Unknown, discovered in 1831 in an abandoned farmhouse in Cheshire, northwest England." Blakey stared at the empty wall where the mirror should be for a good while, and didn't notice the man with the bandaged head sitting on the bench behind him. On his way out, Blakey saw a security guard and approached him. The guard watched Blakey very suspiciously as he fished out Vincent's photo and showed it to him. "You ever see him?" Blakey asked bluntly. The guard looked from Blakey to the blurry, haunting image of an injured man in a hospital bed. "You messing with me?" The guard handed back the photo. "What do you mean?" Blakey asked. "I don't play games. You two can take that viral shit outside." The guard's eyes glazed over, but looked over Blakey's shoulder. Blakey turned around to find Vincent 10 feet behind him. There was a long pause where neither knew what to do. Blakey felt something completely foreign stirring in his system. He felt like every muscle in his body was unified and he could destroy the entire building with his bare hands. When Blakey moved forward, Vincent took a step back. "Wait!" Blakey blurted out with a raised hand. Vincent then panicked and sprinted toward another exit, nearly bowling over a group of children who were on a school field trip. The teacher pulled them out of the way and scolded Vincent's carelessness. Blakey then ran after Vincent, carefully sidestepping the scattered children. "Sorry, kids." The guard pursued them both, immediately calling in the disturbance on his radio. Vincent was faster and more agile and bolted out of another exit. Blakey scrambled to catch up, constantly having to move around people because of his size. Blakey exited the museum too, running across the courtyard. The guard stopped at the door, happy to have them both gone before anything happened. Vincent didn't wait at the crosswalk and nearly got hit by a car. It screeched to a halt, horn blaring. Alice was at the crosswalk, pushing the button for Blakey when he caught up. She warned him. "It isn't him, Dad. You know who took me. Stick with the plan." "But he's running!" Blakey didn't wait for the light either, dashing across the street without a second thought. He too nearly caused an accident. Bystanders yelped when a bus stopped short of swerving into a food cart. "Why is he running?" he shouted to Alice. She was already on the next corner, ahead of both, and scolded her father again when he passed. "Dad, leave him. This'll only slow you down." Blakey could not slow down. His body was not listening to his mind. "I have to talk to him." Talking would be the last result of this much frustrated adrenaline, and he knew it. It had been a while since Blakey had to run. The last time must have been when Alice was taken. The voice popped in. "No, you ran faster then." "No, I never ran this fast." His lungs had felt like they were filled with paint thinner. This time, nothing hurt. Just an hour ago, he was puking in his car, and now he was sprinting across downtown. He didn't even know if he wanted to catch this man and find out for sure that he was the loathsome, child-murdering monster that took Alice. The voice asked, "What happens then? Will you take out all your rage on him? Will you beat him to death? Will you murder him? Will you squeeze the evil out of him like a giant pustule?" When the chase reached the metro entrance, Blakey caught his breath. He pushed through the crowd, following Vincent down below the street. The escalators descended steeply and were far too crowded to push through. Vincent was about 30 people ahead, unable to get farther without starting a fight with the already annoyed commuters. Blakey was caught behind a mother and her stroller. She was on her phone, well-dressed and unconscious of all but her conversation. She was oblivious to the pursuit of a possible serial kidnapper. Her beautiful, round-faced, curly-haired baby stared at Blakey from behind a bubbling bottle of formula. The voice proclaimed, "They all know you, the once and future hero." Blakey smiled at the baby, who then offered the bottle to him. He discreetly shook his head no. The baby gave a milky smile and resumed feeding. When Vincent reached the bottom of the escalator, he paid and hurried through the turnstile, skillfully slaloming through all the people to reach the front, where he waited for the train. Blakey was frustrated at the bottom, where the crowd made it difficult to move. He got to the turnstile empty-handed and deliberated jumping it before seeing a metro officer off to the side. The officer pointed him to the ticket machines. Blakey rushed to the first vacant machine and fumbled out his wallet. The credit card interface was out of order and taped over. He had one $10 bill, but the machine refused it. With every attempt to stuff and cram the bill in, the machine regurgitated it back out. He hopped in the air to see over the crowd and check on Vincent before trying again. Vincent saw Blakey popping up and began wishing out loud for the train, as if he could verbally summon it. He checked the tunnel compulsively and rubbed his itchy, bandaged head. Come on, late, late, always late. He looked to the person next to him for agreement. It's always late, right? The large man in a Pittsburgh Steelers jacket nodded, but eyed Vincent with doubt. Why is it always late? Vincent flung his arms with such intensity that the man in the Steelers jacket walked away to find another waiting spot. Back at the ticketing machines, Blakey tried to finesse his money delicately in, growling to himself, "There we go, nice and flat." It rejected it again. Blakey screamed at the top of his lungs. Everyone watched. The metro officer left his perch, sensing an impending incident. Just as Blakey was about to rage on the machine, someone kindly offered to exchange the bill. Temporarily pacified, Blakey inserted the crisp bill, and the machine easily accepted it. He pounded on one of the buttons. The machine spat out his card pass, and he ran to the turnstile just as the train pulled into the station. The card failed to scan. "You have to be kidding," Blakey yelled and smacked the card against the scanner repeatedly. An older woman behind him offered advice. "You have to let it sit for a sec." While Blakey complied and left the card on the scanner, he looked to the train and saw Vincent already on board. The turnstile's wings parted and let him through into the scattering crowd. An oblivious businessman, arguing with his phone, got in Blakey's way just long enough to critically delay him. Blakey pushed the man aside, but the train doors closed right as he reached them. He pounded the plastic window hard enough to echo through the cavernous metro station. After a beastly bellow, Blakey looked around for some kind of judgment call. There was nothing to be done. Blakey turned back to Vincent as the train zoomed out of the station and disappeared into the tunnel. Blakey shouted expletives with growing volume. The voice cried foul. "Feed the jar! Feed the jar!" He directed the last obscenity right to the face of the businessman who delayed him. The metro officer had followed Blakey to the platform, now with 2 more officers. Blakey waved them away. "Don't worry, I'm leaving. Just missed my train, Saul. Long day. Really. No problem." Blakey headed out, cursing obscenely under his breath. The voice chided, "You owe the jar. Sacrament for the jar." The officers followed, making sure he left. Blakey was met with cutting, harsh wind when he exited the escalators. Now that the chase was over, the pain in his back returned like a tidal wave. First, he braced himself on a trash can, and then he vomited into it. The voice suggested, "You need a drink." "I do? You always need a drink." "Good idea. I am in need. A warm bar, a drink, a nice meal." "Oh, that does sound good."